Hi, welcome to my channel again. My name is Chris, or Cosplay Vicar, in the UK garrison, member of the 501st Legion. Darth Vader, Stormtroopers, Death Trooper, Ghostbuster, you name it. I love cosplay. The key thing for me is I love making in cosplay. You've really got to enjoy the process of putting something together. One of the things I really enjoy doing is completely nerding out on the details of what I'm going to build. So before any build that I do, I always do some drawings. I've done this all the way going back when I did my Ghostbuster and my Stormtrooper. I started doing these drawings just so I could get my head around what is it that I'm building? What is this meant to look like? What's it made out of? What's the sizes, the proportion? Let me understand what I'm going to build before I even start. Now, this artwork is available on my Etsy page. If you want to get hold of one of these beautiful drawings, that'll be in the chat below. But the point of showing you this is you'll see in a little while this is so important. When you're building something, don't just jump in. You want to research the hell out of it. You want to get to know everything about what you are building. The more you know, the more you understand about what you're putting together, the better you are going to be in that process of putting it together, because you're going to understand how it works. And that's really important for today's build. So what I want to show you today is how I built my Darth Vader Empire Strikes Back belt and boxers. Okay, so one of the things that I'm really keen to do in these videos is show you how you can build screen accurate costume pieces without having to break the bank. So the key thing for me when you come to cosplay is, what do I need to buy that somebody else has manufactured, and what can I make myself? There's a trade-off. I can buy and pay for somebody else to do the work for me, high cost, high import tax very often, or I can learn how to make these things myself, and then I can skill myself up. And that's exactly what I wanted to do when it came to building my Empire Strikes Back belt and boxers. So let me just walk through firstly where everything comes from, and tell you roughly the price that I've paid for this. My memory is not entirely great. Blame it on COVID lockdown. The belt boxers cost me somewhere in the region of probably £20 each, or £25 each, say. The belt, actually got it from a leather manufacturer. Got it shipped to me from Italy just because they could cut the length of the particular leather that was needed. I'm not sure what that cost. I think it was about 25 to 30 pounds. I was actually bought that as a gift from a friend. The belt buckle here comes off. It's only velcroed on. Gosh, I'm not even going to be able to pull that off. It's so well velcroed. The belt buckle, that came from Felix Props, as well as the lightsaber hook. I always have this policy: if something's metal, can I get that made in metal? Can I have that? You can trick somebody's eye over 3D printing or other cheap ways around doing things. If you get the right metal pieces, you can trick somebody's eye that the whole thing looks metal. And that's really key when it comes to some of the Darth Vader builds. So overall, I didn't spend really more than £100 on the whole piece. Maybe 100, maybe £110. Some of the parts I'd actually already got lying around. So let me just walk you through what we have got here. Now, when I was researching the belt boxers, there's lots of manufacturers out there that will make belt box kits. They're fantastic. But what I found was there was the original belt box, or near enough the original belt box. It is a Hammond 1550C die-cast enclosure. There we go. It's just a metal enclosure box. The key thing to know is it's 1550C. You can pick these up on eBay for £8 each. And all this is, let me open this up to show you. All this is a die-cast metal box. Screws are inside. It's a metal box with the back. And all you are going to need to do with these is puncture the holes and drill the holes in here where you're going to need them to start putting the fixtures and fittings in. They're £8 each on eBay. Absolute bargain. And the beautiful thing about it is they're already metal, so they look and feel right, but they paint beautifully as well. With one coat of undercoat, you can spray matte black paint onto these absolutely beautifully. They come up really well. So found part, great, 16 quid they cost me, a few pounds shipping. Now the next two fun pieces for me to hunt down, turn this one on for you, on this belt box you have got lights in the two green switches and in this little red light over here. So the key thing for me was, where can I get these little red lights from? Screen grab, screen grab, screen grab, search, search, search. Now the next couple of items, I did buy them on AliExpress for so little. The first item is this little red diode cover, LED or light bulb cover. That was one of the first things I was able to track down. The key thing is it's got to look the part, and close enough you can't get the entire shape, but you can see it's not a round top on Empire Strikes Back, it's a flat top. So that was the first thing that I was able to track down and find. I was really pleased with those. Next thing, which took me ages, and my wife could not believe how many hours I sat in bed searching through websites to find what are these little silver buttons. Or little twizzly knobs, I don't know. I cannot give you links to the AliExpress. Why? Because they've come and gone. Things go on AliExpress and then disappear. But AliExpress is definitely the place to look. And here they come in a little set of strips. So these are my spares. So I've got quite a few spares here if anything goes wrong. They just allow a screw in the back. Put a blob of glue in there, screw to hold those on. But that's what they look like, these beautiful little silver twizzly knobs, switches. There we go. So they're from AliExpress. They cost me no more than a few pounds as well. Both absolute finds. The next thing I had to track down, which wasn't difficult at all, was just the green arcade machine switches. All we have got here is two arcade machine rectangular switches. What I did was I cut the backs off them, emptied out all the gubbins inside so that my electronics would go inside them and I could power them alongside the little red LED as well. They cost about £3 or £4 each. In fact, I bought all four for no more than eight quid, got a deal on eBay. Really pleased with those. The key thing is, when you buy anything on eBay, you know you're waiting a month. So I waited the month, but I paid so little for all the little pieces here. The next thing it took me quite a while to track down was the pipe. So on the Empire Strikes Back boxes, you have got this little bit of hose pipe at the front. It has got to be hose pipe clear with braiding. I hunted and hunted and hunted to get the right stuff. Eventually, I ended up finding it in Homebase or B&Q. I think it was B&Q. And it's just braided hose pipe. Now the key thing about this is they do different thicknesses. The thickness isn't necessarily the most important thing. What I found, you cut it anyway to the right length, and then you don't use the whole of the hose pipe when you're putting your belt box together. But that, I could only buy a meter. They gave me two, and it cost me pennies. If anybody building a belt box would like some of this, I'll be very happy to ship you a little length. Look how much I've got. You could build, I don't know how many belt boxes with this stuff. So that's the belt box. So how do you put this together? Well, what I did, and you'll see this in the link in the chat below, alongside my big drawings, I did this. This is an outline of the belt box where everything goes by measurement. What I therefore did was I did a little worksheet like this, and I'll just walk you through how I did one of them. So all I did was cut out the template from the sheet, Okay, so all I did, cut out the template from the sheet. Ta-da. And the best way to do this is to use some double-sided tape. So all you want to do with this is to put some double-sided tape on the front of your belt box. There we go. And you carefully then double-sided tape. I might have actually, when I did it, put 3 strips, not 2. That just simply goes onto the front of the box. What that allowed me to do was, because I got one for each box, I now know they're identical. So even if they're slightly out, they're identical. And that's the key thing for you building your kit. You might stand next to somebody else and go, theirs is just a millimetre that way or a millimetre that way. I spent quite a lot of time watching and screen grabbing from the movies to get the diameters of this. I also went on to the Sith Lord detachment to see what others had done, suggestions and templates that they had created, and I created my own where I felt happy. So all I did then was, because I now have the template attached to the front of my box, I was able then to use my drill press to simply puncture the smaller holes in there, and I was able to go with my bigger drill bits to then create the sizes that I needed. Obviously, because the screws at the back of the size that I've drawn on here is for the size of the screw. Depending on size, what screw you're going to put into the back of your button, there depends on what size hole you would cut. But when you are putting in the arcade machine buttons, you just need to cut the correct circular size for the button then just to fit into there. The hardest one to cut is the rectangle at the front. The way that I did that was I drilled out the 4 corners, and then I just used my Dremel and very carefully and lightly cut away, and then just used some sanding to make it really nice and square on my belt box. So there you go. Inside the belt box, so I can turn this one on as well for you, all you will find inside my belt box in here is a very, very, very simple mechanism. I have got 3 fairy lights powering each of the green lights. So in here there's 3 fairy lights, 1 fairy light. I then glued those with hot glue together. Those go inside the lights here. And all I did was then, after I'd got my length, I cut it off and soldered on some AA battery pack with a little on and off switch. What I've then done is I've drilled a hole in the back of my belt box. You see that there, where I can access the on and off switch with my finger. And I can just turn it on and off by putting my finger inside, so I don't have to unscrew the back on this. A couple of key things with the belt boxes. It's really worthwhile, if you build your own belt boxes, it is really worthwhile buying your own belt buckle and your own lightsaber clip here. I made my own. It looked good. For about £7, I could buy one that had been made really well. And I just think those 2 pieces really set off the belt, so that you're not spending as much time looking at the belt boxes. I'm really pleased with my belt boxes. I think they look absolutely insane. They fit beautifully. I'm really pleased with them. But I think where you can get real metal items like the little switches, it just tricks the eye to be convinced more by the item that you are making. And so I think therefore the Hammond 1550C boxes make an absolute great base for your belt boxes. Everything else then is so simply found. And they're all things that you would find in the 70s. It was very easy. Simple LED lights, very simple switches. The belt, let me just mention this for a moment. The belt is actually very particular. The Empire Strikes Back, the width of the belt and the way the belt is made. So you can see, let me just remove this for you. The belt has a very light, fine marker down it, all the way down the edge. That is really important for Empire Strikes Back. That's what the belt looked like. And the width of that belt is 5.7 of a centimetre. So that's what is that in inches? That would be about 2.3 inches. I think if you go to 2.5, you certainly don't want to go any less than what I've got here. You could go for a slightly thicker belt, but only by a fraction. It's all about the proportions. And the way that I hold all of this together is with Velcro. Others use belt buckles. Weight fluctuates up and down, so it's nice to have something that really fits you, and you can really tighten it and get whoever's helping kit you up really tighten it. So I found Velcro is just one of the best ways of actually doing belts. You can really tighten them up, whereas if you've got a belt, you've got a little bit of gap, so you're either a little bit loose or a little bit too tight. So I really like Velcro for this kind of thing. Let me just show you the belt buckle again. I'm really pleased with the belt buckle. That came from Phoenix Props. Now, I'm starting to get to the point now where I would probably have a go at manufacturing that myself. Probably get some aluminium plate and give that a go. But for the price, it wasn't that expensive. I think I paid about £15-16 for it on Phoenix Props. So actually it wasn't too expensive at all. So there you go. Empire Strikes Back belt boxes, made with Hammond electrical boxes, with some nice little silver buttons from AliExpress, arcade buttons, some hose pipe. There you go. You've got your Empire Strikes Back belt boxes. Now, if you go to the link below, you can see there's some printable sheets. You can click print on those, and they will give you the templates to actually get you the right proportions on your belt boxes. I'd love to see what you come up with. If you use them, I'd love to see what you produce at the end. I am going to do a couple more videos on other things that you can make, from your chest box through to your shins, to your voice changer. This isn't about doing it on a budget, but this is about using what money you've got sensibly, so you don't have to spend hundreds of pounds buying kits from somebody else, that you can produce yourself and make them look just as awesome. Please subscribe. Love you to hit that like button, leave some comments in the chat, and catch up with you soon.